Alfie and Deck did not get a lap in. That is their qualifying, over and done with. So unless these drivers don't improve, they are going to be in a bit of bother here. But Dodo coming into the final straight right now, into the chicane of turns 16 and 17, really riding those curbs into the tricky two left-hander now. And overtaking the airboard up to the line, and it is going to be a 28.603. And now we try and find these other drivers who are going to be coming up to the line thick and fast here. Sab is going to be the first one in the Red Bull, and then it's the Mercedes of... I believe it's going to be, of Lambert. But first we will see the Red Bull. They are improving by 10 seconds on their Delta. Let's see if this will be able to give them provisional pole at the moment, as they are derating 28.0 for the Red Bull. Now let's have a look at Lambert, as they only go P4, as Brian Evans there and the other Red Bull goes P3. Let's have a look at these other drivers. SINTIUM now takes over the provisional pole, 27.5, as Razdal there goes P2 with a 27.7, as SVA there goes into P5 in the McLaren. Jaipo goes into P3 in the Aston Martin, and now it's the other Mercedes of Gurgle. They actually invalidate as they don't improve. Saban in the Alpine goes into P6, I do believe that was, or P5. But we now go to 5 red lights at a wet Singapore Marina Bay, and it's going to be lights out eventually, and away we go. And I do think the Williams did get a better start than the Ferrari. I also think P3, the Aston Martin actually got a better lap time over the Ferrari. But as we go down into turn 1, Sab now is actually going through the Aston Martin there. Since he gets a slight snap, as they are still side by side, or still very much ghosting through each other going into turn 5, and I think the Aston Martin will get the better off of that. Are there any moves being made further back though? I believe we are going to see a McLaren there go up the inside of a RB. Lambert already getting a 10-second penalty for cutting the corner, and now into turn 7 we go, and the McLaren on the outside of the RB. Deck and Liam fighting side by side, and Deck eventually just has to back out of that one. Or actually an Alpine getting involved. I'm not really too sure who that is, and it is going to be Gurgel down the inside of Alfie. Can he get that move stick? A little bit of contact there, but as we go onto the exit and now down the straight, and I think the Mercedes might get a better launch here, as I think there was a Sauber there going down the inside. I think that's Stardo on Brian Evans. And are they still remaining side by side? And they are remaining side by side. Sorry, I had to cut away from the action of Gurgel. But down the inside goes Tharlo into turn 18 and 19. Still side by side on the exit. How do they go side by side through there without any contact? Into turn 1, still side by side are these two. And Tharlo eventually has to back out. Fifas and Milinski now going side by side. And I think Milinski just going off the track there. A little bit of contact there as Fifas rejoins. And Fifas gets up into P7, and now Liam tries his look round the outside of the Aston Martin, and that was a pretty easy move for Liam, up to P8 now. And I think Gurgel and Alfie, yeah, that move was settled. Oh, as SVA goes into the wall there. So whoever made the prediction of SVA crashing on lap 8, Quartz, you are correct, but not correct, because it only took until lap 2 to get that crash. And he is losing a bit of his front end plate as well. And I think we saw Deck and Melinski having a bit of a battle here as well. Melinski back up the inside and gets that move back up into P9. Deck looking for the switchback though. Can Deck make that move as we go down into turn 10 and eventually just has to back out? Lambert having another look up the inside of Melinski. SVA actually retiring from the session as well. Up the inside is Lambert still on the Aston Martin of Milinski. Milinski will now have the inside for turn 5, but into turn 5, Milinski just backs out. Milinski and Lambert gets the move. Can Gurgel now try and make a move on the Aston Martin? Can Alfie get in on this fight as well? As we look to go into turn 7, are there going to be any moves being made? I think Alfie might send it up the inside of the Mercedes here. Look for it, but then backed out going into the corner. And now he looks for it. I think that was Gurgel on Milinski, and so does Alfie as well. Milinski losing many more positions to the Alpine, Sauber and RB as well. Milinski down to P15. Did he just back out of that one? He's also making way for Saban as well. Okay, that is a little bit interesting there from the Aston Martin. Is Deck going to look for the move on Brian Evans though, and he was close enough, but decides to not send it. Brian Evans looking down the inside of Saban though into turn 8, and I'll tell you what, he had to be very committed to that, and he was. Sabando under pressure here from Deck. Deck trying to around the outside will get the switch back, and I think Gurgle will try and follow him through. Deck gets the move. Can Gurgle follow him through? Very close there, but Saban having to back out of that one, and Gurgle gets the move as well along with Deck. Saban down into P13. And for a second there, I thought the Red Bull was going to try and make a send on Jack. Obviously, Jack is now the next driver that's going to be holding up these three drivers. You can see Brian Evans looking up the inside, will be latest on the brakes into turn 14 there. Easily gets the move, and Deck is going to easily follow him through as well on the inside. Can Gurgle find a place as well? Down that inside, he's going to be following all of these drivers through. And he does eventually get that move. Ransdell setting another fastest lap of the race so far. And now these three drivers have been unleashed. Jaguar has actually spun. Oh, he's got a puncture. His rear right has punctured. That's a pit. And there you can see Sab down the inside of the Mercedes going into turn 5. And now when will Liam make that move? Obviously don't count out Tharlo as well. Let's ride on board with Tharlo. And you can see there Liam down the inside of the Mercedes. Tharlo getting very close to the Mercedes. Always, I think Lambert has gone, Liam goes a little bit wide there, and they are going to be very close together as Tharlo is going to try and send it down the inside of the Mercedes. Liam has gone clear. Tharlo still around the outside of the Mercedes, very clean by these drivers. But Tharlo eventually gets the move. No, SINTIUM actually stays out. What will Ransdell do though? And he does pull the trigger, and I was going to say, it's better if Ransdell tries something that will work than not trying it at all. So Ransdell will go into the pits to try and go on to those mediums to get the undercut on SINTIUM. So we'll have to see how that pans out for the Ferrari, and everyone else behind him is coming in. Sab, Liam, Tharlo, Fifas. Brian Evans actually stays out though. What will other drivers do? I think Lambert also comes in, so does Deck. Everyone, Gurgle stays out as well. Has SINTIUM just absolutely blown this away? He is putting into the pits now, and he is going to pit. So he has done his stint pretty much. And there you go, DRS has been enabled. SINTIUM has called that absolutely perfectly. And Brian Evans will, I for sure, come into the pits as well. As Fifas is actually retired from the session. And I think that might have been due to a crash. Let's have a look through the castle, or through the bridge section, sorry. I don't think it is. Oh, it is a safety car. It's a virtual one though. Alfie getting a 10-second penalty there for speeding, and he does retire in the pits as well. A lot of drivers deciding to retire from the session, and I don't know why you want to be doing that, as Liam goes down the inside of Sab, I believe that was, and will get the move pretty nicely, it has to be said. SINTIUM is really sliding about there though through turn 1, 2 and 3, especially into turn 3. Ransdell getting the fastest lap of the race. And Brian Evans has a massive snap into the wall, and he loses out on 3 positions there. Has front wing damage, and has that just wrecked Brian Evans' chances there of staying on the podium? And I think it has. He's in P6 at the moment, front end plate damage, and I don't think he's going to be close enough to get those points back. So that has just potentially put Liam onto the podium, just gifted Liam the podium there pretty much. Tharlo can still try and do something here. Down the inside of the Red Bull, going into turn 7. And I'll tell you what, clean move there from the Sauber, and Sab doesn't have anything really to reply with. And I'll tell you what, Tharlo is actually getting quite close to Liam as well. Could we maybe see Tharlo on the podium as Brian Evans actually gets past their own teammate, and Deck also follows him through as well. Still through turn 7, they are fighting. Deck goes off the track, comes back at him going into turn 8 this is. He's still marginally ahead, but Sab is going to hold it down the inside for turn 9. Deck has to back out. Can he find the switchback though? Yes, he does on the battery. Will he be able to get the move going back into turn 10? Down the inside? No, he doesn't. He will elect to stay behind. Then in reality, he won't really lose anything. Tharlo here though, down the inside of Liam, going into turn 6, into turn 7, and they are going to be side by side. Still side by side through turn 7. Tharlo on the outside. Liam will now have the outside for turn 8. Tharlo gets the move, but can Liam look for the switchback? No, he can't. I think there might have been a bit of contact there, though, maybe. But Tharlo is now onto the podium positions. Liam down in P4. And, you know, Division 2 is it seeming like they got one on the podium. Oh, as Dick gets a massive snap. And that is almost surely going to allow Gurgle to get the move here. We're right on board with the Mercedes. Will he look for it down the inside? Yes, he does. Will Deck fight it? He does slightly. It's on the outside, and I think Deck might have gone off track there as we go into turn 8. Still side by side, a little bit of contact. And I think Gurgle just manages to stay out of the wall there through turn 9. And I think Gurgle eventually gets that move. Deck making a crucial mistake and losing that P7 spot. Brian Evans looking close to Liam. Will he look for a send going it? Oh, that was a very late move there from Liam, but regardless, Brian manages to react to it and goes around the outside. And I'll tell you what, that was a pretty clean move around the outside, despite Liam moving very late to the inside to cover off that move towards the end here. But I'll tell you what, these four are getting quite pacey. The Mercedes is going to try and look for it around the outside of Sab there into turn 8. And I'll tell you what, he's hold that and into turn 9. Still side by side, bit of contact between the two. The Mercedes just getting a bit barged out the way there. And the Mercedes will have to hold position at the moment, but he probably won't be happy about that. Will it be Liam? Will it be Sab? Will it be Gurgle? Or will it be Deck? As Sab just make a move down the inside there of Liam going into turn 7. It'll still be side by side for turn 8, but look at Gurgle. He's looking for it down the inside as well. Still side by side between Sab and Liam. Into turn 9 we go now. The Red Bull still up the inside of the RB. Has he cleared that? No, he hasn't. But will he try and burn for it into turn 10 and eventually backs out of that one, thinks better of it. Gurgle though holds the tighter line but cannot make the move on the Red Bull just yet. Obviously we had a bit of a fight before. Sab is going to look for it around the outside of the RB. Can he get that move stick? And going into turn 9, I think he is much more ahead than he was before. Has Liam been able to hold that down the inside? No, he hasn't, and that will be Sab up to P5. Gurgle could still do something here. But as they fight, we're going to look at SINTIUM coming into turn 17 and out into the double left-hander of 18 and 19. And he has absolutely controlled this race wonderfully. And he will come across to win the Singapore Grand Prix. Ransdell will take P2 when he gets there. And Tharlo will get Sauber's whatever podium I think it is in this season so far. So good points for the Sauber team. But I still want to see this as Sab now still trolls it around the outside of Liam. And I think Liam has been able to just defend that, but Sab is still going to try and fight this. Liam back ahead, Gurgle down the inside of the Red Bull. Can he get that move stick? Going into the final few corners. Yes, he is still side by side, and he's just trying to defend that, but Gurgle, I think, eventually gets that move and gets up into P6. Brian Evans will take P4. Liam will take P5, with Gurgle finishing in P6, but with the time penalties. Liam back up to P5, Sab in P6, Gurgle P7 and Deck in P8. Lambert will keep P9 despite Gurgle and Deck having 3-second time penalties. Jaipur will then finish in P10 when he gets round to the flag, and then it'll be followed by Dodo, Jack and Saban, who has already finished the race, lapped in 13th. But Jaipur here coming around the final couple of corners to take a very good P10 there for the Aston Martin team. Dodo will then finish in P11, and then Jack rounds off the grid in P12.